Hey, you must be Mr. Thomas Edison. So, welcome to General Electric, and my name is Safi Heather, and this is my colleague, Dr. Razi Heather. Please.
As you know, we are conducting interviews for the position of researcher. I hope you would be the best fit for that. Please tell us something about yourself.
Thank you. I am Thomas Edison. I was born in Ohio but grew up in Michigan. I'm interested in technology as a youngster and spent hours of times at home conducting experiments. I began my career selling candies, newspaper and vegetables on the trains, and by the age of 13 I turned a weekly profit of $50, but most of them went into purchasing equipments for electrical and chemical experiments.
You are a pretty interesting personality, Mr. Thomas Edison. Now, can you please tell us about your educational background?
Well, I barely stayed in school for the few months before dropping out for personal reasons. Then my mother taught me reading, writing and arithmetic. She worked as a teacher in a public school. Then I attended the Cooper Union for the Advancement of Science and Art and finished a few courses there.
Interesting. Tell us some of your research work.
Well, I rose from a humble beginning to work as an inventor of major technologies, including the first commercially viable incandescent light bulb. The development of the telegraph was my first step in the communication revolution, and because the telegraph industry expanded rapidly in the second half of the 19th century, this rapid growth gave me and others a chance to travel, see the world and gain experiences. I worked in several cities throughout the United States before arriving in Boston in 1868. Here I began to chance my professional from telegrapher to inventor. During the Civil War, I learned the emerging technology of telegraphy and traveled around the country working as a telegrapher. I have already discussed and stated, I created the telegraph. Electric impulses may be converted into letters with these gadgets. It's capable of sending messages across vast distance through a cable. Its dependent meanings of communication. A transmitter, a receiver and a cable connects them in telegraphy. Unlike sending letters, the only method to intercept a message is to break the transmission cable and set up an electric telegraph on the spot, which is a nearly impossible task. As a result, telegraphy will become a significant instrument in politics, the military, and even in businesses such as client communication. While working on a telegraph and the telephone advancement, I thought out of a technology to record sound on tin foil coated cylinder and invented the phonograph. I designed a machine with two needles, one for recording and other for playing back. Well, I personally think that Tesla's AC current, although holding advantages over DC for long range transmissions, but it's very dangerous. It's very much uncontrollable because of its high voltages. It can burn cities down. I demonstrated the lethalness of AC for using the AC electrocution sphere, which was pretty gruesome and slow death for convicted murderer William Kemmler. 1000 volts went through his body and it wasn't an instant death. I would like to call this AC current as death current. Although my work in the field of DC has now largely been replaced by AC, but DC still has big advantages. One of them being that DC can be stored into a battery of compact size more easily and then later used when it is required. This can serve as power source when generators are not working. This also reduces the running time of generators, saving money. Secondly, DC is relatively safer and controllable. AC is transmitted over such a high voltage that it's pretty much uncontrollable and very lethal, as demonstrated by my AC electrocution chair experiment. Okay, that's fine. You can take your time. I'm very thankful.
Welcome, Mr. Tesla. We are conducting interviews for the position of researcher for our company. And your peer, Thomas Edison, has recently given an interview. We have called you for some verification regarding your peer.
3.
Well, I'm good, but these days are going very busy for me as I'm working on my new project. But I'm glad you called me here. Okay, so what I know about Thomas Edison? So Thomas Edison is merely a businessman. When I first moved to US, I idolized him and started working for him at Edison Machine Works. Also, he was a great inventor, but wasn't a man of his word. He offered me 50,000 US dollar if I redesign his inefficient DC motors and generators. But when in 1885 I inquired about my payment, Edison just replied me, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor," thus breaking his word. I'm grateful that he made me quit my job, or else we would still have been stuck with the DC current. Edison is a great experimenter and inventor, but he lacks mathematical skills that I as a mechanical engineer have of mathematical physics. Edison's direct current is nice at all, but it can't compete with my AC currents. His DC can't be stepped up or down and requires a large power plant every square mile and thick cable for transmission, while my AC can be transmitted over long distance in thin wires. His DC can provide power to only densely populated cities and immediately rules out rural areas from equation. When his DC failed, he tried to defame my AC inventing by inventing the AC electrocution chair, demonstrating that AC is dangerous. His employees electrocuted anyone publicly. Okay, this is all about what I know about Thomas Edison and my experience with him.
Hello, Mr. Edison. Yeah, so Mr. Edison, after discussion within ourselves, we have come to the conclusion. And yeah, we are really sorry to inform you that we cannot hire you in our firm. Yeah, it's okay.